Nick Kyrgios weighs in on how Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner would fare against peak Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer. Nick Kyrgios believes that Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner will surpass the level of Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer. The Australian made the comments while speaking on the Ultimate Tennis Showdowns, All on the Table series, alongside Patrick Mouratoglou. Kyrgios has never faced Alcaraz, but has clashed against Sinner, losing 7-6-3, 6-3 in Miami in 2022. I think they are playing better. I think the game keeps evolving, said Mouratoglou, who is currently coaching Naomi Osaka. I watched the final of Roland Garros between Alcaraz and Sinner, and then saw the final on grass between Federer and Nadal at Wimbledon, and it's so much slower. The pace they play is unreal. It's hard for me to say, maybe because I'm getting older too. I think they will eventually surpass them, but not right now, said Kyrgios. At their prime. Prime Federer that year, where he won Indian Wells, Miami, Australian Open. That year, I don't think so. The slice. I think Federer would play really well against Sinner and the slices and bring him forward. He would make him feel uncomfortable. And Federer against Daniil Medvedev. I think Federer would destroy him. But then I think maybe Alcaraz beats Federer. I don't know. It's hard for me to say they are better right now, or maybe I don't want to. The Spaniard and Italian have now shared all of the last 7 Grand Slams, including the last 2 Grand Slam finals. Most recently, it was Sinner who triumphed against Alcaraz in the Wimbledon final, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 to claim his 4th Grand Slam. Just a few weeks prior, the two competed in the longest ever French Open final, at 5 hours and 29 minutes. On that occasion, Alcaraz saved 3 championship points to prevail 4-6, 6-7, 4-7, 6-4, 7-6, 7-3, 7-6, 10-2. The lights glared across the studio. A slight buzz from cameras and crew floated through the air as Nick Kyrgios settled into the leather chair, leaning back with the relaxed demeanor of someone who had nothing to prove, but plenty to say. It was a special edition of the Tennis Hour, a popular show known for stirring debate and diving deep into the psyche of tennis stars. Today's episode, a time warp fantasy. The question, one that had set social media ablaze. How would Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner fare against Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer at their peak? And who better to answer than Nick Kyrgios, a player who had not only faced all 4, but who had defeated Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, and Murray in his career, and called out tennis traditions just as often as he mesmerized fans with tweeners and underarm aces. Let's be real, Nick begins. Kyrgios gave his signature smirk. All right, let's be real here. We're talking about prime Rafa and peak Federer. You're entering sacred territory. He leaned forward, hands clasped together. Let's take Federer first. From like 2004 to 2007, man was untouchable on grass and hard. That guy floated. I remember watching as a kid. He didn't just hit shots. He composed symphonies on court. Fluid. Effortless. The guy made 10 straight Grand Slam finals. And he wasn't just winning. He was dismantling legends. And Nadal. Kyrgios shook his head with a grin. You put 2008 Nadal in front of you at Roland Garros? Good luck. The guy was a clay monster with that heavy lefty forehand, grinding like he was running a marathon every point. Even Fed couldn't find answers. Then, Kyrgios turned his attention to the present. But Alcaraz and Sinner, man, they're different animals. Alcaraz, the modern gladiator. There's something almost gladiatorial about Alcaraz, Kyrgios said. He plays with a smile, but he's brutal underneath. He has that mix of Djokovic flexibility, Nadal intensity, and a bit of Federer's flair. He hits big. He defends even bigger, and mentally, he's already a beast. Nick recalled the 2023 Wimbledon final. Look at what he did to Novak. Came back from set down. Took it to 5. Outgrinded the grinder. That takes more than talent. That takes fire. But if you throw him into the past, say, against 2006 Federer on grass, it's a different kind of storm. Fed didn't just control matches. He dictated the laws of tennis. Alcaraz would struggle to find rhythm. He thrives in chaos. But Federer never gave you chaos. He gave you silence. Precision. like a knife through butter. Still, Nick added with a grin, Alcaraz has that dog in him. He'd push. He wouldn't get blown out. But beating Peak Fed on center court? That's Everest. Sinner, the Ice King. Jannik, Nick said, pausing. Now he's ice. Just pure Italian chill. He doesn't flinch. That backhand is one of the cleanest I've ever seen. And his timing. Outrageous. You can't rush him. And now that he's stronger physically, he's dangerous everywhere. Kyrgios reminisced about a practice session with Sinner. It was in Monte Carlo. Just practice. But the guy hit every ball like it owed him money. Baseline to baseline, not missing a thing. You think, this kid's different. But against Rafa, Kyrgios chuckled. At Roland Garros, that's like showing up to a sword fight with a laser pointer. Nadal on clay in 2008 was unreal. His topspin kicked higher than most players could handle. Sinner's great at taking the ball early, but Rafa would have made him hit above his shoulders every shot. He paused. Still, Jannik would have moments. He'd rush Nadal sometimes, flatten out that backhand down the line. He'd take sets, but beat Rafa over 5 sets on Chatrier. Even Djokovic barely did that. Maybe once in a lifetime. Hypothetical matchups, Kyrgios breakdown. Wimbledon, Federer, 2006, versus Alcaraz, 2023. Man, that's the dream, right? Both love grass. Both slice, volley, improvise. Alcaraz has more muscle, more pop. But Federer's serve placement, net game, and ability to take the ball early few. If it's dry and the grass is slick, I'd say Fed in 4. But we'd get shot making for the ages. U.S. Open, Sinner, 2024, versus Federer, 2007. Sinner can thrive here. Faster courts suit him. But Fed in 07 was still all-knowing. He could defend, attack, flip momentum in a flash. Jannik might take a tiebreak, but Federer just knew how to win New York. I'd say Federer in 4 tight sets. Roland Garros, Alcaraz, 2024, versus Nadal, 2008. Nick whistled. You'd need oxygen tanks just to watch this. The rallies would be insane. Carlos has more drop shot craft, more angles. But Nadal's footwork on clay was inhuman. He didn't lose a single set in 08. I'd say Rafa in 4, but one of those sets goes 7-6, like 14-12. Australian Open, Sinner, 2024, versus Nadal, 2009. Now this is spicy. Kyrgios grinned. Nadal won that year in an epic. Sinner's movement has improved. He's got the weapons. I'd actually say this one goes 5. If Jannik serves well, he might edge it. But Rafa's mentality, dude's a wall. Let's say Nadal in 5, but barely. The Kyrgios factor. When asked how he would have matched up in his own prime with these names, Nick gave a theatrical shrug. I've beaten Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, and Murray. I've taken out Medvedev, Tsitsipas, you name it. On my day, I'd beat anyone. He winked. But consistency wasn't my thing. I'm not a grinder. I'm an artist. One day I'm Mozart. The next day I'm, well, not.